Hi everyone, we're going to do some review today for your upcoming math test in your regular math class. So, we're going to be reviewing percents. My suggestion to you is to try to do the sheet on your own if you can. If you can't, and if you feel more comfortable, feel free to follow along with this video. Whatever you do, just make sure you know what's going to help you study for your test best. Alright, so our first example is if Devin eats 2/5 of the cookies in the jar and Hannah eats 25% of the cookies in the jar, what percentage of the cookies in the jar did they eat? So in order to figure out the total amount of percents, we need to get both of those numbers to be percents. The amount Hannah eats is already a percent, 25, so we can leave that be. We need to turn 2/5 into a percent. And remember, percent means per 100. So we need to get that denominator to be 100. So 5 times what equals 100? Well, 20. Whatever we do to the bottom, we also do to the top. 2 times 20 is 40. So 40 over 100, that's 40%. Because remember, percent means per 100. Now we're looking for the total amount of percent of the cookie jar that they eat. So we have 40% from Devin, and Hannah eats 25%. So to find the total amount, the total percentage, we have to add them. So 40% plus 25% is 65%. Exercise 2, we have to write a decimal equivalent to 41%. So to turn any percent to a decimal, what we need to do is take that decimal and move it to the left 2 places. So in a whole number, that decimal is in the very end of the number. We're going to move it to the left 2 places. So 41% is really just 0.41. Exercise 3, what is 60% of 80? So this is going to be using that part over whole proportion. Remember it from earlier lessons, we have part over whole equals percent over 100. And we have to figure out what pieces of information we have and what we need. So there's a percent sign after the 60. So we know that this is going to be filled in for that percent part. Now we have to figure out if we have the part or the whole. And here's a trick for you. When you see the word of, the number right after of is your whole. So we're going to fill in that 80 for the bottom part of the proportion. And we're looking for the part. So to solve this, we're going to cross multiply. So 100 times x is 100x. 80 times 60 is 4,800. To get x by itself, we can divide both sides by 100. And that leaves us with x equals 48. So that missing amount is 48. Exercise 4, the stadium is 3/4 full. What percent of the stadium is full? So we are trying to turn that 3/4 to a percent. And remember, percent means per 100. So we're looking to turn this fraction to something out of 100. To turn this 4 into 100, we have to multiply it by something. 4 times what equals 100? Well, that's 25. Whatever we do to the bottom, we also do to the top. So 3 times 25 is 75 over 100. Remember, percent means per 100. There's a 100 in the denominator. So 75 over 100 is 75%. Exercise 5, a small college's enrollment increased from 2,500 to 2,800 students. What is the percent increase in enrollment? Round your answer to the nearest whole percent if that is something that is necessary. So what we need to realize here is we're looking for the percent increase. So percent increase is the same thing as percent change. And that's how we know we're going to use that percent change formula. So our percent change formula is change over the original equals the percent change over 100. Now, this is going to be your formula for percent increase and decrease. If your regular math teacher uses a formula that might be a little bit different than this, you might see this top number here, or the top part change. It might be two different formulas where percent increase, it says amount increase in the screen spot, or when it's decreasing, you might see percent decrease. It's all the same thing. I like to lump them together and just write however much it changed. But if the formulas from your regular math class are different and they work better for you, absolutely use them. So let's figure out how much the college enrollment changes by. We start out at 2,500 and we go to 2,800. To find the difference, we would need to subtract to find the amount it changes. So when we do 2,800 minus 2,500, we have that percent change to be 300. So that's our change. So that's going to be that top part of our proportion. The change is 300 over the original. The original amount of the small college's enrollment, it went from 2,500 to 2,800. That means it started at 2,500. So that's our original. Equals X, we're looking for that percent, over 100. To solve this, we're going to cross multiply. So 2,500 times X is 2,500X equals 300 times 100, which is 30,000. To get X alone, we divide both sides by 2,500. So that means X equals 12. Our percent increase is 12%. And last but not least, concert tickets cost $120 each. A local vendor sells the tickets for $150 each. Find the markup rate. So the way we solve markup problems are the same way, pretty much, how we solve percent increase or decrease problems. So we have to find that change, put it over the original. That change in this case is the markup, equals percent over 100. So we have the change over the original cost of the tickets equals that rate, the percent, over 100. And when they say rate, just keep in mind it's going to be a percent. So this formula is going to help us solve the amount of change. We go from $120 to $150. The difference between them, when we subtract 150 minus 120, goes up by $30. So this is our amount of change. So we're going to have 30. The original cost of the tickets were $120 equals, that percent is what we're looking for, the markup rate, X over 100. To solve, we're going to cross multiply. 120 times X is 120X equals 30 times 100, which is 3,000. We divide both sides by 120. And we find out that that markup rate, or X, is equal to 25%. And that is all.